I never thought it would come to this. My name is Daniel, I'm 36, and for almost a decade I thought I knew exactly who my wife Laura was. I loved her more than anything and I thought she felt the same about me. We built a life together, a home filled with routines, laughter, small victories, and even the occasional argument that always ended in hugs and apologies. I thought we were solid. I thought nothing could break us. I thought I knew what love looked like, but I was wrong and I learned that lesson the hard way. It started as most things do, with a small lie. Or at least that's what I thought at first. Laura had been distant for weeks, little excuses piling up, her phone always just out of reach, her smile just a little too forced. She said she was tired, stressed from work, that she needed space. I wanted to trust her. I wanted to believe in us. But the feeling in my gut, that persistent unease, told me something was off. Something had shifted and I couldn't shake it. Then one night it all came crashing down. I remember it as if it were yesterday. I came home early from work, planning to surprise her with dinner, her favorite, just the way she liked it. I opened the door, and the sight that greeted me stopped my heart cold. Her living room wasn't empty, but it was filled with tension, whispered laughter, a shadow in the corner that didn't belong. And then I saw him, Mark, the man she claimed was just a friend. My hands went numb and for a second I couldn't even breathe. My mind refused to comprehend it. I wanted to yell, to scream, to rip everything apart, but I couldn't move. I was frozen, staring at the woman I thought I knew, the life I thought I had, unraveling before me. Laura's eyes met mine, and in them I expected guilt, shame, even panic. But there was nothing. Just calm. Almost too calm. She smiled as if nothing was wrong, and said, "Daniel, we need to talk." That smile, the ease in her voice, was worse than any scream I could have let out. I had imagined confrontations, arguments, betrayal scenes played out in fiery bursts. But this serene, almost casual confession shattered me in ways I couldn't articulate. She told me it wasn't what I thought. That she loved me, of course she did. But Mark was someone she had to spend time with. For reasons she couldn't explain at that very moment. I tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. I wanted to ask her how she could do this to us, how she could look me in the eyes and lie, but all that came out was a whisper, "Why?" Laura's calmness didn't help. It made my anger boil, but also made me question myself. Had I done something wrong? Was I the problem? It's strange how betrayal doesn't just hurt. It twists your reality, makes you doubt everything you once took for granted. I left that night. I didn't shout, didn't storm the house. I walked out quietly, leaving my keys on the counter, my heart breaking in ways I didn't know were possible. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I left because staying would have meant pretending everything was fine when it clearly wasn't. For the next 10 months, life was a hollow echo of the life I once knew. I moved into a small apartment, focusing on work, friends, even therapy, anything to keep my mind from circling back to her, back to the betrayal. I thought I was healing, thought I was moving on. And I was, in some ways. But there was always a part of me that couldn't shake the waters. I replayed that night over and over, every word, every glance, every small detail that might have hinted at the truth. Then came the call. I didn't recognize the number at first, and I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick it up. Her voice, soft, hesitant, familiar. It was Laura. I froze. My chest tightened. The world slowed down. She said, "Daniel, I need to tell you something." I sat down, gripping the phone as if it could anchor me. Her next words nearly broke me. She confessed. Every word, every lie from that night, everything I had replayed in my mind, it had all been a mistake. Not in the way I had hoped. No apologies could erase the damage, but in the truth behind it. The man, the betrayal, it hadn't been real. She had constructed a scenario, a story, one she thought would shock me, wake me up, make me see things differently. And I had walked right into it, believing it was the end. I didn't know what to feel. Relief? Anger? Confusion? All of it mixed into a heavy, bitter weight that settled over my chest. 10 months of solitude, self-doubt, nights spent staring at the ceiling wondering where it all went wrong, and it turned out, it hadn't gone wrong the way I had imagined. It had gone wrong because of perception, because of fear, because of a lie I couldn't see through at the time. I met her a few days later. We sat across from each other at a small cafe, the kind where nobody notices you, where the world keeps moving and no one pays attention to your private catastrophes. She looked at me and I saw regret in her eyes. Not the casual, almost comfortable kind of that night. Real regret. A kind that trembles beneath the surface, fights against the weight of pride and ego. She said she had wanted to test me to see if I would leave, if I would stand my ground. But she hadn't anticipated how deeply it would hurt me, how irreversible some actions feel, even when the truth is revealed. Her confession didn't magically fix anything. It didn't undo 10 months of late-night thinking, of self-recrimination, of imagining the worst-case scenarios. But it opened a door, an uncomfortable, fragile door, to understanding. To seeing the mistakes not as betrayal, but as a twisted experiment in human emotions, flawed and messy. I left the cafe that day with more questions than answers. I didn't know if our marriage could be repaired, if the trust that had been broken so completely could ever be restored. But I did know one thing. The pain, the solitude, the heartbreak of those 10 months had changed me. It made me stronger, more aware of my own boundaries, and more cautious of the illusions people can create around themselves. And as I walked back to my car, the city buzzing around me, I realized that truth and lies are sometimes separated by the smallest margin. That a single confession, whether months or years later, can shift everything. And that love, fragile as it is, requires not just devotion but clarity, honesty, and a willingness to see the world as it really is, not as the stories we tell ourselves.